Moses led the children of Israel out of Egypt, but not before God opened the Red Sea so they could escape from Pharaoh's army. We've heard this story before, but have you ever wondered why God opened the Red Sea for Moses, but not for Pharaoh? For over 400 years, the descendants of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, also known as the Israelites, lived in relative peace within the land of Goshen, which was located in Egypt. His Hebrew name was Moshe, which meant drawn out or taken out. When he was still just a baby, he managed to save himself when Pharaoh ordered all the male babies to be killed. At first, Moses refused, saying that he wasn't eloquent and that God would have to send someone else. But God told him, "I will be with you, and when you have brought the people out of Egypt, you shall worship God on a mountain." So Moses went back to Egypt together with his brother Aaron. He was put into a basket made of reeds and left adrift on the Nile River. When Pharaoh realized how serious God was, he called Moses and Aaron and told them that the Israelites could go. He only promised to part the sea for Moses. Do you remember when God told Moses, "I will be with you, and when you have brought the people out of Egypt, you shall worship God on a mountain"? Well, that promise was fulfilled when Moses led the children of Israel to the other side of the Red Sea. And that's why God parted the sea for him, but not for Pharaoh, because God's promises are only valid for those who believe in him. But the Pharaoh refused, saying, "Who is the Lord that I should obey his voice and let Israel go?" Then God told Moses to throw his staff down before Pharaoh. That is, that he doesn't force himself upon anyone. Even though God is all-powerful, he allows people to make their own choices. And so God only answered Moses' prayer because he had faith in God. In fact, throughout the Old Testament, we see that God kept his promises to his people, but he also allowed trials to come upon them when they abandoned him. This is where things get interesting. You see, in order for Moses and the Israelites to leave Egypt without being killed, God had to convince Pharaoh to let them go, and he did this by performing miracles that proved God's power. It just so happened that Pharaoh's daughter found Moses in the river, adopted him and raised him as an Egyptian prince. Thus, Moses grew up knowing he was an Israelite, but also knowing the ways of the Egyptians. They were able to live here because their forefather Joseph had saved Egypt from famine, by bringing his family to the land of the Pharaoh and settling them in the region. However, over time, the Israelites became more numerous than the Egyptians. And when a new Pharaoh came to power, he feared that they would rebel against him and take control of the country. So he tried to suppress them, forcing them into hard labor and killing any baby boys that were born. After all, it was Pharaoh who had been tormenting the Israelites for years. After growing up, one day Moses met some of his Hebrew brethren, and witnessed firsthand the mistreatment they endured under the rule of the new Pharaoh. Meanwhile, God spoke to Moses through a burning bush and commissioned him to go back to Egypt and free the Israelites from slavery. The brothers confronted Pharaoh and demanded that he let the Israelites go so that they could celebrate Passover in the wilderness. The first miracle was turning Moses' staff into a serpent, and through these plagues, we see a great truth about God.